Okay, today we're continuing in Excel Chapter 2. Yesterday we left off, we didn't have these in here yet. Go ahead and type in totals, highest, lowest, and average. And when you're over here to cell C13, we're going to use our auto sum function to add up those cells, hit enter. Then we're not going to add up the hourly pay rate. Go ahead and go over here to E13, use your auto sum function and hit enter. And then we're going to use this to copy this formula over to cell G13. And our tax, we don't want to total up the tax here, but we still want to figure out what our tax is. So we're just going to copy this formula down. Remember, this formula, if we use our rangefinder, is taking the gross pay, the gross pay, we're trying to figure out our tax rate. So we take our federal tax plus our state tax and divide it by our gross pay. Okay, so we're just going to copy that formula down. We'll hit escape to get out of there. Use the fill handle, copy that down. Our tax rate, our total tax rate is 25%, roughly 25.6, roughly. Net pay, we'll add the total of that. So go ahead and auto sum, hit enter. Scroll over. We don't need the total for the date. All right, now our functions down here. We are going to have the highest. To find the highest in a range of cells, we're going to use our maximum function. So go ahead and select cell B14, click your auto sum button, go to maximum, and it's going to default to this range. Yeah, and that's the range that we're going to use. Actually, we're just going to use this range. We don't need to have totals in there. Go ahead and hit enter. That's 4. Then if we find the lowest, we'll go over here to here, do the minimum function, same range of cells, hit enter. And then the average, hit the average function, this range of cells, hit enter. So it's easy to just look at this list because it's a small list. We can look in here and say, yeah, the biggest one was 4, smallest one was 0, it happened twice, and the average, yeah, about 2 looks about right. Okay, but if you had 100 workers or 200 workers and you needed to find something quickly, using these functions, you can see where that'd be very beneficial. Okay, now using the fill handle, we can just copy these formulas over. So go ahead and select those 3 cells, use the bottom right corner fill handle, and drag them over to net pay. And if we want to make sure that they're adding the right cells up, or figuring the right place, let's use the rangefinder. Click in any random cell over here, use the rangefinder, and say, oh, yep. And notice it's not including the totals. We don't want the totals to be included in our highest or lowest or average. Okay. Okay, next we're going to apply a theme. So go ahead and make sure you're on the page layout tab at the top. And over here we're going to apply a theme. Notice my themes are grayed out. That's because I'm in the middle of a cell right now. I have to get out of my cell, click somewhere so I'm not inside of it, and then it'll be active. Go ahead and click on themes. We're going to apply the basis theme. And if you hover over them, you can see how it changes the whole format of all the numbers. Scroll down and find basis, and that's the one we're going to use for this workbook. Okay, next we're going to format the worksheet titles. Go ahead and select A1 all the way through J1. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so we can see my whole spreadsheet here now. Okay, so I've got A1 through J1. And we're going to center and merge that on the home tab. Center and merge. We'll also center and merge A2 through J2. And then we're going to apply, so you can select them both. And go to cell styles, and we're going to do title. And then we're going to click on cell A2 now. This whole cell is A2 after we centered and merged. And we're going to decrease the font size to size 14. Okay, next we're going to change the background color and apply a box border to the worksheet title and the subtitle. So let's make sure both of these are selected. This is our worksheet title. This is the subtitle. And we are going to click on the paint bucket, and we're going to apply green accent 1 lighter 40%. And then we're also going to click on the borders button right here and apply a thick box border. Okay, when you click off of that after you've applied it, you can see there's a border, and the border is actually going all the way around the whole box. If you want to check it out to make sure, you can click on your print preview button, and you can see that there's a border around the whole thing. Okay, next we're going to apply a style to our heading, so go ahead and click A3 through J3, and we'll go to Cell Styles, and we will apply heading 2 style. Okay, and then also with these cells still selected, we'll go ahead and click on the center button to center those titles. Okay. This should not be on 3 lines, so I'm going to click and drag my border to the right till it's on 2. And then to best fit this row, I'm going to double click right between the 3 and the 4, and it will best fit that. Okay, next we're going to go down to totals. Select the totals line all the way through the date through J13, and under cell styles choose totals. Next we will bold these from highest, lowest, and average. Go ahead and bold those. And next we're going to apply the accounting number format to some cells and the currency style. What's the difference between accounting and currency? This one up here, this $, this is accounting. Look at the difference. There's accounting, and then if I click in here I can go to currency and do that. Anybody tell me what the difference is? Yeah, $signs are either the $signs are floating, this is called floating if they're way away from the number, or they're in tight. So currency, they're in tight, and accounting, they're floating. Yeah, I don't want the date or the hours worked formatted like that, so I'm just going to click that, and I'm just going to undo until I get it back to where I was at. Redo, so these are bold again. Alright, so hourly pay rate all the way through, state tax, and then hold your control key down, click on net pay. And we want to hold down our okay, hang on a sec. Okay, so the numbers that we want to format are D4 through G4. Then hold down your control key to select non-adjacent cells. Click on cell I4, and then also go down to your totals column and select E13 through G13, and then also click on I13. Okay, so we have all these cells selected, and we want to make this the currency style. So click on your down list arrow and select currency. Okay, these other numbers here now we're going to set as the comma style. So after we did that, let's go ahead and select hours worked all the way down through the bottom. Hold your control key down. Well, actually, don't hold your control key down. They said just select the comma style. The comma style won't have $signs, and it'll put a comma in there if it's over 1,000. Okay, so select that, and okay, and then next we want to select from D5 all the way down through the state tax, which would be here above the totals. Then hold down the control key and select net pay down to here, and we'll select the comma style. Okay, next select this bottom range of cells from C14 all the way through I16. And here we want to do a little extra formatting. We don't see all of our options up here. If you want to see all the options, you need to expand the dialog box. So click the expand dialog box launcher, which is this little button right here. And we want this to be comma style. So we're going to go number, use a comma separator, 2 decimal places, And this is how we want negative numbers displayed. We can either have it with a little negative sign by it, or we can just have it in red, or we can have it in parentheses, or we can have it in red parentheses. And we want our negatives to be displayed with just parentheses, the third option down. Okay, so go ahead and click OK. And we didn't have any negative numbers, so it didn't display any parentheses down here. This column now, we want to select this again. This should be formatted as a percent. Let's click the percent here. But we also want it to have 2 decimal places. So we're going to increase our decimal places by clicking this little increase decimal place button here until we get to 2 places. Okay, after looking this over, we decide that we want these to also be formatted as a currency. So hourly pay rate all the way through tax, and hold the control key down, select those, and we're going to change this to currency. Okay, next we're going to talk about conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is kind of cool. You can have, for example, say you want to just highlight the cells red that are over $50. Okay, so you can tell it to do that, and that's what we're going to do here with conditional formatting. So with conditional formatting, alright, so let's go ahead and select cells C4 through C12. And to do conditional formatting, make sure you're on the Home tab. Click on Conditional Formatting. Go down to New Rule. Should make a new rule. And we are going to format only cells that contain. There's a bunch of options in here, but the one that we want, you can format all cells based on their values, format only cells that contain, format only top or bottom ranked values. There's a bunch of them in here, but click on format only cells that contain, and then here we have cell value, and we want to have greater than, just greater than 70. And what do we want to have happen to cells that are greater than 70? You can see if you look over here, there's a few that are higher than 70. We want them to be formatted differently. So let's go ahead and click on Format. And if they're over 70, we want the fill color up here to be dark red. And we want the font color to be white. So set the color over here to white. Then when you click OK, hit OK again. The ones that are over 70, the background color is red and the font is white. So now I'll go ahead and click on Net Pay, and I want anybody making over $1,000 to have a green background with white font. See if you guys can create a new conditional formatting rule that will do that. Okay, this is how you should have done it. Select those cells, go up to conditional formatting, create a new rule, format only cells that contain, greater than, when I said 1,000, and I want the background to be green. You can choose what green you want, and the font color to be white. And then hit OK. OK. And it should have looked like that. Okay, next. If we're going to print this on a worksheet, go ahead and click on Print Preview. If Print Preview is not showing on your Quick Access toolbar, click your down arrow. Add the Print Preview button, and then click on it. And you can see the Print Preview. Right now, it doesn't fit on one page, right? So we're going to change this to Landscape. So when you're in Page Setup over here, click on Page Setup button located right down here. See that, Evelyn? It's right there. Did you get Print Preview yet? Okay, so now that you're in here, go ahead and click on Page Setup. And we're going to change it to Landscape. And click OK. We can see everything on there, but it still doesn't look quite centered. So we're going to click on Page Setup again. Go to Margins. center horizontally and vertically, and click OK. Now it's in the center of the page. So that's how it would print. We're not actually going to print it. Mine is gray. Your guys' previews may be colored. Mine is gray because that's the printer that I'm printing to is a black and white printer. And yours is color. What printer does yours say up here? Mine says North. Yours says North Lab? I wonder why you're getting a color preview and I'm not. Okay, last thing in this chapter, go ahead and exit the Backstage view by clicking the left arrow. And to display formulas, press Control tilde. That's the little tilde mark is to the left of the number 1 key. And that will show you all of your formulas. When I'm grading these, I am going to open these up and do a Control tilde, and I'm looking for formulas. If you just type in the numbers, that won't be correct. I want the formulas in there. Okay, that concludes Chapter 2. So if you're finished, go ahead and save it and upload it to Moodle.